Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. My apologies for the tardiness. Thank you to the brothers of UK. Said, peace, sister. Wishing you all the best for the coming year. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And thank you, Twin. Torenzo said, Polo Tink Tink calling women narcs, trying to agree with men who've always known this. She's talking about herself and needs to shut the beep up. We're going to get into it today because Miss Princella, you know, I've done videos on her off and on. And I remember one that I did as a result of because I was reviewing the fact that she had done an interview on the breakdown, which is for those of you who are familiar, Concrete Rose and Sister George. And this was maybe about 2 years ago, maybe more, where they did an interview with her. And they had her on their platform a couple of times, and you know, they didn't really get along and all of that. Not necessarily. But the reason that I mentioned that show is because they actually asked her some very pointed questions. And the questions that they were asking her led her to talk about the root for why she had the mindset or was espousing the things that she was espousing. And she talked about a lot of trauma and hurt that she had been through with a lot of men. And I said, okay, this is where her anti-male rhetoric was coming from, because she was hurt and had not figured out how to properly heal from it so that she didn't have to be bitter about it or anything like that. I don't know if y'all remember that, if there are any here who's long enough to remember that show. And I heard where the trauma was at. I heard it. And I don't remember all of the points that she made as of right now, point for point, but I did it in that live stream that I did a couple of years back. And I said, okay, I understood it. I still didn't agree with the stuff that she was saying, but it made more sense after I understood where her trauma was at, because she was married before. She has a child by her ex-husband, and things of that nature. And I think after that relationship, she began to date women. And she recently, within I think the last year or so, showed up on Hardly Initiated panel as well, just explaining her mindset, the things that she talks about. She's been on many platforms, and I've watched these shows. And so recently she was on Willie D's platform, and you know, you can go and watch the entire thing, but right now we're just going to listen to a snippet of it. And the rebrand is crazy work. And let me give a little bit of, I don't know, not a disclaimer, but a clarification, because this show, this video, this live stream is not meant as an attack to her as a person, because I don't know her. I know what I see, and I know what I'm hearing, but I don't know her. I've never met her. Okay. And so this is not some type of attack that I'm trying to do on her, but she makes content just like I do and many other content creators. And once you put your stuff up there, people can critique it. And sometimes they will critique it favorably to you, and other times they may not. I'm going to try to be objective about it and just talk about what I'm hearing, what she's saying, right? Okay. Hey, AB, how you doing? It's been a minute since I seen you in the chat. How you feeling? Hopefully you're doing well. You know, if you don't, I have to be tuned in to social media given the line of work. But if you're not, I don't even really expect you to be, because a lot of half this stuff not even worthy to really be paying attention to all throughout the day. All right. So the clip here is about 6 minutes long, and we're going to go through the entire thing. Okay. I'm going to let her speak at length just so you can get the context of what she's talking about. I don't want to be stopping it every 2 to 3 seconds. I want you to be aware of her context. Yes, you do. That was one of the reasons I was late to the show today, was praying. You got to do that. And I'm not saying I pray for this reason, but it helped, because you got to be ready to digest this. You got to look at it and not digest it for yourself, is what you got to do. You know, be in it and not of it. You understand?
Out is men are narcissistic, but women are 1,000 times more narcissistic than men.
Willie D Live.
What do women want men to do?
The reality is women want men to be their personal slaves. Women want men to placate to this fantasy that they have in their mind. And women got a lot of fantasies. Women want men to be these aggressive vessels that have a woman's nature. This is what they want. It's like they want their cake and eat it too. So they are addicted to sex, but to justify their sexual addictions, since they can't stay away from it, they have to try to make the man become a version of a woman that they like sleeping with, right? So she has a movie in her head, and she has roles that she has slots for. And there's a slot that she has for a romantic partner that only a man can be cast as. So she's willing to cast any kind of man and put him in this role. And if he's going to play this role, he has to do every single thing that she wants him to do. Pay the bills, keep your sexual organs only to me. I'm going to trap your eyes. You can't see no other woman in the world. You focus on me and on me only. And you give me all your money, right? And if he don't do everything that she want him to do, the relationship don't work. So what I've come to find out is men are narcissistic, but women are 1,000 times more narcissistic than men, because women want to be the center of the universe, right? So if you find out everything that you find out about men, and you're still trying to approach them the way that you approach them, ultimately the problem lies on the woman, because the male follows her. The male is a reflection.
Now, before she gets into the rest of her philosophy and rhetoric, she explained in probably the greatest detail and with the most honest truth the mindset of a hyena. If I can articulate the mind, the heart, the inner workings of a lioness, she perfectly stated how a hyena sees the world and how, in particular, they see men. So that first part was absolutely brilliantly true. It was true. See, when you see people that you know you don't agree with, I don't just disagree with them because they're talking. If they right, they right. If they said something true, they said something true. I can disagree with all the rest of her positions. All the rest of her positions. But that snippet that we just heard, that was only about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. She explained the the hyena's thought patterns as it pertains to a relationship, her regard for herself, and regard for men. And I don't think she wanted to know that information. But by dating women, by being her, she's a woman that dates women now to get away from the hurt that men put you through. And that didn't work out real well because women are more vindictive than men are. And they think they're highly manipulative, especially the hyena. The hyena has a special brand of manipulation that she always does to anybody. And as long as they see you as another woman, you can kind of deal with them. But if they start seeing you like a man, it's done. And Princella shows up masculine in her female relationships. So even if you are not a biological male, if the hyena views you as a male or in a masculine space, you're going to get treated like a man. And that, my dear, is where you're going to see all the foolishness that you think the men are hamming up. You think the men ham it up. And you don't want to see how the women behave because your platform placates to women. Her name, as far as content creation, her content creator name is Princella the Stud Maker. I mean, I just read it. The stud. A Freudian slip. Princella the Queenmaker. So her platform has been to uplift women and say all of these types of things about women and how wonderful women are and how horrible men are. And she's been packaging it as, well, this is just the truth. I'm not pandering to the women. This is a physiological truth. It's a biological truth. Now she's gonna start getting into my baby said, I said it right. That's why I was a Freudian slip. Because my subconscious was like, no. These are the words that we're putting together for this. I think we were. I think we had groupthink for a second. Definitely. That was definitely, I really did mean to say Queenmaker because that's her name. But Stud Maker is not wrong. Now, let's not, it was a Freudian slip, but Stud Maker is not wrong. Because the information she was giving them women definitely gonna make them studs. They definitely gonna be studs. Getting done with that foolishness there.
Reflection of the woman. So no matter what I say about women, say about men, it's all gonna circle back to what women want, and men are jumping to everything that women desire. Right? That's the problem.
You said in a recent video that I saw, well, in a video that I saw recently, that you realize how hard it is for men to be men after you dated a woman. Expound on that.
Okay. So, like I just told you, I've been around males for 25 plus years. I'm a tomboy, ex-military, football, but I've never really had female friends. I grew up in a male dominated. So I understand males a lot more than I understand women. However, I've been through the same things that women are complaining about with males. So when I first started my journey helping women.
Now, I want y'all to listen closely to what she said. I want y'all, because this is a key insight. People always tell you who they are and what they're about.
The same things, grew up in a male dominated. So I understand males a lot more than I understand women. However, I
don't really understand men. I'm a tomboy, but I don't really understand the psyche of men. Okay. And there's a difference. Just because you're a tomboy doesn't necessarily mean you were paying attention to men. Because I was a tomboy. I was a whole tomboy. I always hung around the boys. I was always around the boys. And it was a non-sexual thing. So because I was somewhat the homie, I was like the honorary homie, I got to hear a lot of conversations that females do not hear. Okay. And I was listening attentively to what they were thinking because I wanted to know what boys who weren't related to me, i.e. not my brother, not my father, thought about girls. How did they think about themselves or girls or relationships or all of that stuff? And of course, there was a lot of immaturity because, we 14 years old and 15 years old. So it ain't like they had been through a whole lot, but they just had a baseline of what their nature was as it concerned females. So I listened to that. This is how I got, I'll be like, oh, she got such insight on men. That comes from all of them years, all my formative years, all my teenage years, even into college, just being around dudes for the vast majority. Very few female friends. And unlike her, where she says she didn't really have a true understanding of women, I understood girls all too well. I understood them all too well. And I understood that there was a difference, although without the terminology to express it, between certain girls and certain other girls. And I'm like, it took me a while to figure out those differences, but I understood women quite well. Even the ones who I understood it from a mother point of view, mother-daughter, elder and me being under them, peer to peer. So me and girls my age and stuff like that. And observing girls in situations with boys. And all of those were different girls, different manifestations. But they all had certain things in common. The level of gaslighting and manipulation involved in these so-called friendships and all of that. And it was like an inescapable web of just a bunch of foolishness, a bunch of catty, it was a lot of mean girl stuff. It was a lot of girls are mean. Girls are mean. Girls are mean. Women are mean. Women are mean. When they don't have any spiritual base, when women don't have any spiritual alignment, they are not aligned, they are not in tune with Allah and grounded in that, women are mean. And they are mean little girls that grow into mean grown women. And the way that meanness manifests itself becomes more and more detrimental the older that they get. Girls use social currency with other girls. They wield it, they weaponize it. And you're either in or you're out, or they like having flying monkeys. Girls love having flying monkeys, little lackeys and little flying monkeys. Girls that want to be accepted into the social circle, but they never will be. So they use them for what they can use them for. I've seen that go on. Holla if you hear me in the chat. See, men don't know this because y'all don't socialize with girls and women on a non-romantic basis, or even if you do, you're not a girl. You're not a girl. So she's not gonna treat you like she would another woman. The only men that somewhat come close to having that experience is the really, really effeminate gay men that they hang around. Those men have a closer experience of how it is to be a woman in a woman's circle. Men who are heterosexual, even if you deal with a woman on a platonic basis and there is no romance, she's still not going to treat you. You're not a woman in a woman's circle. Just like no matter how cool I was with the guys, I was never a guy in the guy circle. I was always a woman in that guy's. No matter how platonic, they always was like, that's a girl. And so, you know what I'm saying? It would just be different little things that make you remember that they remember that you're a girl. So girls are mean. I understood the nature of them real quick. Like, oh, y'all a group of little mean. Y'all mean. And even the ones that was ostracized, let me tell you how deep it go. Even the ones that was ostracized from the so-called mean or the so-called top group of girls, they would make their own reject group of girls and weaponize that. Y'all got y'all nerve. We're gonna go back.
Been through the same things that women are complaining about with males. So when I first started my journey helping women, I thought that a lot of women thought like me. But I come to find out they don't. So my third girlfriend, because it wasn't the first two girlfriends I had, it was the third girlfriend that really made me see. And it wasn't just her. It was the responses that I got from breaking up with her from a lot of women. And I realized that she was the one that made me realize that women are totally entitled and lazy.
Now she spoke a word again. Now I know who she's talking about. She didn't say the name. We know who she's talking about. I'm not even gonna say her name because it's unimportant. But she spoke a word. Okay. When I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna tell you what she said.
She was the one that made me realize that women are totally entitled and lazy. It might appear that women are not lazy because they do the bulk of the housework, and women from a lot of women. Responses that I got from breaking up with her from a lot of women.
Exactly, Miss Princella. Now I want to harp on that for a quick second. Because me and Miss Princella are diametrically opposed in a lot of ways, in almost every way of what we think about the dynamics between men and women, yada, yada, yada. She said something that I've been saying. It don't be just the one incident of the one woman that do stuff. It be the support of the rest of the hyena clan that lets you know that they all are thinking that, though. They may not all have done it, but they definitely support it. And they definitely think so. I've said this over and over again. When I look at different clips on social media and I talk about those clips, oh, you know, she's speaking for herself. No, she's not. Because when you get tens of thousands of comments from women that agree with the foolishness, that is the thought. That's what be key for me. Not necessarily everything that just specifically went on in a particular clip or a particular story that I'm relaying. It be the female support behind it. That's where you know, oh, this is a collective thinking. So when I'm talking about hyenas, when I'm talking about how these chicks are moving out here, that ain't just no 1 or 2 women. That ain't just no 10 or 12 women. That ain't just no 50 to 100. It's a gang of y'all. It's the majority of y'all. It's the majority. And we ain't supposed to know that. We're not supposed to see that. We're not supposed to acknowledge that y'all agree. Because see, I would break it down to about 70% of women out here are full-blown hyenas. Of the modern women. Full-blown hyenas. That other 30%, 5% of them, those are the so-called chameleons that don't participate actively in a lot of stuff, but they mindset, 1 minute they're okay, they can talk with some sense, the next minute they're agreeing with a lot of hyena isms. And the reason, and then that other 25% are straight up lionesses. The reason why the 70% is so high, I'm gonna tell y'all why I say about 70%, is because any female born in a Western society is born into feminism. Her first teachings, socially, all of that, whether those teachings are explicit or implicit. Nobody's sitting down with us with a feminist book, okay? But it's implicit in how things are going. We're born into feminism. That is exactly what I mean when I say all the women are born into the boneyard, even the lionesses. Okay? The lionesses are born into the boneyard. We're born in it because this is the boneyard society. The way society is operating, it's the boneyard. So we are immediately indoctrinated into feminist and Marxist ideas when we are little girls. We don't know that we don't know. We just getting raised. We're just being told certain things. Okay? We're just seeing certain things. We're just experiencing things a certain way. Exactly. Even the education system, as down as into like preschool, it starts there. And it's built in when you take them to the little daycares and the little preschools. The girls don't have a shot. Let's just to dodge feminism, that we don't got a shot. We got to work through and get to the other side of feminism. We don't dodge it. Okay? We don't dodge it. There's no such thing as getting completely away from it. We don't. We have to work through it. We gotta get over it. Like we gotta heal from the boneyard. Like you gotta realize that it's not right because you feel it in your heart. And then you gotta like work. There's a lot of work to do because you have to undo. Let me tell you about the work. You gotta undo everything that you learned. Everything that you learned about being a woman. All of it. All of it. Down to every little thing. You're gonna have to unlearn that. Everything that your mommy taught you about how to be with a boy, everything that you read in a book, everything that the teacher said, everything that you saw on TV, everything, you gotta X all of that out. All of that was wrong. All of that was wrong. And even if it may have been technically true, it was coming from the wrong perspective. So you had the wrong idea about it. Just for example, being provided for by a man. There's nothing wrong with your husband providing for you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's in the Bible. That's in the Quran. Allah mandate that. All you hear hyenas talk about is, I need to provide a meal. I need to provide a meal. I need somebody to pay all the bills. See, but it comes from a crazy space. It don't come from how the Most High set it up. That's not where that's coming from. That's coming from the boneyard. That's a boneyard teaching. You see what I'm saying? The way they twisted that up, the way they made that crazy. So now a lioness can't even say she want her husband to take care of her. because the hyenas have twisted the concept so bad that now even the basic concept of a woman needing a man to do certain things for her is given a side eye, but that's our natural default setting. So now even the lionesses got to get a side eye. Well, why would you want a man to will take care of you how? It's like, wait a minute. Take care of me how the Most High said? Did we forget that part? Exactly. It's crazy. They be talking about crazy stuff. Lionesses don't even be talking about that. We don't be talking about, oh, a man first see me, now he gotta pay to get my hair done. We wish we would do some stupid stuff like that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why would some guy that I'm trying to get to know, I don't care for what reason I'm trying to get to know him, why would that be the first thing that's done? Since when him passing me some money to go get my nails done is getting to know him? That's getting to know him? No. It's irrational how they be talking about providing. They talking about tricks and hoes. That's what they talking about. They want a high price trick. That's all they be talking about. So it goes back to the point that I'm saying, even when the things that we're taught as young girls may have a kernel of truth to them, it's given to us in a corrupted way. It's corrupted. And so we get it, and now we gotta undo the corruption. That can take a long time to undo all of that and be like, no, I can, take some of this stuff, but I also have to use it in a different way. I have to deal with men from a better perspective. I have to deal with men from a better standpoint, from a more spiritual standpoint. And then that'll help me have healthy relationships with men and a healthy mindset in terms of what provision even is, what a marriage and a relationship even is, and all of those things. Precisely. The women that undo the corruption, we're the pick-me's. We're the ones that they talk about badly. We're the ones that's bashing women. We're not the girl's girl. We're male identified. We pander. You just want, you just want to be, So you just want a man to want you. I don't want you to want me. I should hope I want a man to want me. You don't want a man to want you? So she hit upon that. I'm going to go back to what she's saying, but after these messages, we'll be right back. Do not let 2024 leave you without you going to ashkicking.com and picking you up some of the best body butter that you probably will ever use. It smells wonderful. It feels wonderful, keeps your skin feeling and looking its absolute best. Go ahead, pick yourself up some of this body butter and other personal care products, not only for yourself, but your family and friends as well. If this is going to be your first purchase, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you, NS. That represents sis. Much love. I wish you the very best. May the Most High bless you always. Thank you. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you, Miss Mia, for your support as well. I appreciate you. Thank you, Miss Luke Casely, for your contribution, beloved. Thank you. Malika said, Princella the stud whispers to walk like a stud, talk like a stud. It's a stud in a bad wig and a ball cap with a strong chin and a deep voice. Thank you, Chrissy, for your super sticker as well. I appreciate you guys. So let's go back. And by the way, it's their camera that failed. This is not me not aligning the screen properly.
And I realized that she was the one that made me realize that women are totally entitled and lazy. It might appear that women are not lazy because they do the bulk of the housework and all this stuff. It might appear that they're not lazy. But the only reason that they're doing that is because they're trying to force men to see that they don't need any other woman. Like women voluntarily take on all of the responsibilities so that she can say that my man don't need no other woman. So this is self-inflicted. She's not doing it because it's got to be done. She's doing it to control the man. So when it comes to the modern, quote unquote, woman, the modern woman, I'm realizing that, wait a minute, you want me to stop? I'm trying to go to an interview and you're making me late. And I got to go to a gas station, brand new gas station. Why don't we go and take care of everything at one spot so we can just get on the road? You want me to stop before the gas station to take you to a special place to use the restroom. Now you talking to somebody. I done slept in the woods, having to dig foxholes, going to porta potties. I done drove trucks, being in the oil field, using porta potties out there, stopping at truck stops, taking showers. This is me. So for me to stop at a gas station to use the restroom, that's nothing. But for her, I don't use
it was beneath her.
It's beneath her. And if I was with a man, he would stop and take me to the restroom to use whatever restroom I wanted. And then all the women, see, it was the women. It was if it was just her that way, I'm like, okay, bitch, you crazy. But for the collective of women that's watching this, and as I'm telling the story, it's a slew of women that was like, that's your girl. You're supposed to take her and she's the queen. And I'm like, what is wrong? I said, is this really how y'all are in relationships? Is this what you expect from men in relationships? Because if this is what you expect from men in a relationship, you got me twisted as a woman because, ma'am, we're both women.
Miss Princella, if you hear this, and you may, it's likely that you will, Miss Princella, that and worse, sweetheart, that and worse. See, you just got a little I'm going to tell you what you got a little taste of. I'm going to tell you what you got a little taste of there. They don't like order. And it'll be like to tell what to do. They don't like problem solving, order, and being told what to do. No matter whether or not what that thing is to their benefit or to someone else's benefit or anything. That is the lesson that you learned. What you learned, since you want to be masculine, since you want to show up like a dude with these chicks, you might as well line up with the rest of the men. Okay? Come get your helping. Since you want to show up in your masculine. With these men, with these women, you're going to have to show up armed with the same knowledge. See, you've been experiencing women in every other way except romantically how a man experiences them. So now that you've dove off into the deep end of that pool, you might want to get a load of what you have to bring to a relationship. Ma'am, Miss Ma'am, Mr. Ma'am, Mr. Ma'am, you're going to have to bring the essence of male nature to your relationships. Things like provision. Okay, you're going to have to somehow generate a masculine light. Not going to happen, but you're going to have to try. They don't like stability, all right, unless it benefits them. The problem solving, anytime that you have problem solving, that you present, see, that quells the order. They don't like that. They don't like that, Mr. Ma'am. Also, the protection, you're going to have to talk about, they got you twisted as a woman. You know they expect you to lay your life down, right? You ever been booked for a fight by one? That's coming. Also, your procreation. Well, you can't really do that, but you can do some type of intimacy with them. They're going to want that however many times they want that. And you're going to have to make them orgasm in the way that they want to have the orgasm. Do you understand that? Since you want to go into the arena of men. But one more thing before I start wrapping this thing up. This your teaching, ain't it? Come back to bite you. Did it come back to bite you? Did it bite you, Mr. Ma'am? Miss Negro? Did all of your teachings about how women are superior and how the men have to follow them and how the men, that goes for not only biological men, but everybody that wants to show up like a man. See, you want to show up like a man. So all of the rhetoric that you talked about that pertain to men, it's you now. You have to be in that space. You're the beta male now. You have to do what she says. So no wonder your audience was looking at you with a whole side eye, like you didn't do what she said. Wasn't you supposed to be the Queenmaker? Wasn't it supposed to be all about how the women was of superior spiritual mental capability? Wasn't it all about how the women had a better disposition overall and biologically the women didn't really need the men? It was the men that siphoned everything out of the women and sucked the women dry. So the women gotta do what the women gotta do. So you want to show up with a fake ding-a-ling like the matriarch hyena where you gotta show up like a dude. And they're gonna treat you like a dude. They don't have any respect for men, and your propaganda helped that along, which is why somebody like her that show up masculine has a large female following, and somebody like me that show up feminine has a large male following. Is it pandering when you do it, or is it just pandering when I do it? See, are you with me? Are you seeing what I see? And you coming through like this, or this is just a revelation for you, ma'am, sir. This is just a revelation for you. Everybody else knew this information. This is information you could have got from me a couple of years ago on a live stream back when I was fat and eating ice. You could have got that. It's almost about to be 2025. You just figured this out? Huh? All that arguing you used to do back in what, 2016, 2017, that you used to do with the manosphere, you did, what was that about? Had to get spanked, didn't you? Oh, you had to enter into the boneyard by another doorway. And they showed you what was up. You wasn't a sister girl then. You wasn't a girl's girl then. You wasn't a woman helping other women, and y'all are entering into a sisterhood then. Now you was a dude. And you gonna come over here and do what these dudes do. Just exactly how I want you to do them. You're going to give me your money. You're going to do what I say. I'm going to act up. I ain't going to listen to nothing you talking about. We're going to argue. We're going to be toxic and all that. All that. Huh? Now, the sensible thing to do would be to now approach it from the standpoint that the Most High wants you to approach it from. But I don't think that she really go down that road at all. I don't even know if she believe in God or not. And I'm not being facetious. I don't actually know. The sensible thing to do would be to go back to the drawing board, the real drawing board, not the drawing board of how you can now maneuver your content now that you and your latest girlfriend, who's also a content creator, fell out publicly and she said this, that, and the third about you, and then you had to come back and say this, that, and the third about her, and all that foolishness that y'all went through. I don't want you to do a rebrand pivot, because that's nasty work. What you really need to do is get in tune with the Most High. I don't know what your beliefs is about that, but I suggest that you find it. Okay? The real healing, which is well overdue, Miss Ma'am, because all that hurt and pain that you talked about years ago, which I never make fun of people's trauma and pain. I never make fun of that. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to really do some work. Not that pimp work. Not that pimp work. That's not spiritual work. Pimp work is not spiritual work. All that stuff, all that big pimping you learn from them dudes that you was learning it from, and them books you read from those men, okay, who had a pimp mindset, and that's not a good mindset either. The pimp mindset also belongs in the lost value system. We trying to go from here to here, and the way that we go from here to here is we got to tell the truth, and the truth is in the spiritual value. So it would behoove you And it would also behoove the little baby that you raise and little girl for her mama to start telling herself the truth. Tell yourself the truth, not your story or whatever the case may be about what was happening between you and those men that you dealt with that hurt you. Cause you covered it up with a lot of pimp juice, and that ain't working. Pimp juice don't work. Because once you get sober, the reality of what was going on is still there, beloveds. You did not work on that. You didn't work on it. I can hear you still not working on it. And you may never. I don't expect you to take my word. I'm just telling you what would be best. You're probably not going to do it. It's most likely that you won't. Thank you, Original Man. So not a provider, more like a sponsor. Thank you, Grits and Bacon said they want Tupac in a suit. It's deeper than that because let me talk about that. Let me talk about Tupac in a suit. First of all, Tupac wasn't no gang member. Tupac could definitely wear a suit. He was an intelligent young man. Okay, let's do that. Tupac was no gang member. He's just Tupac. You ever listen to him talk? He's highly intelligent. Highly. A rather sensible young man, actually. He could be real sensible. Real sensible. Everybody like to, celebrate that, to hit him up. He was doing rap beef when he did that. That's a rap image. They got all messed up on some foolishness that we not gonna go into. But Tupac was, he was an artistic young man, a dancer and an actor. He was all of that different stuff. He wasn't no thug. I get the gist of what's trying to be said. Y'all trying to say they want a thug in a suit. Thank you again, Original Man. Said they harassed Simone about harass that young woman about her marriage. They don't harass them single mamas. They could harass that married woman. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Miss Mia, for your super stick. Appreciate you. And thank you, Antonine. So betrayal of yourself in order not to betray another is betrayal nonetheless. It is the highest betrayal conversations we got. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, they are. You mean that bullet, that movie about the robbers and the dog? Is that what you're talking about? If you're talking about that Bullet, yeah, I don't know if it's another Bullet movie. I don't know. But that's the only movie I know that's called Bullet. And that is a good movie. Anyway. Oh, must have been another one. I knew it had to be another one. That's probably what he's talking about. Black Marvel. I just only know one movie that's called Bullet. But anyway. Before we head out of here.
Diary of Dark One's Son is a look into the thoughts, opinions, and experiences of a young black man who is wrestling with the tough task of trying to make something out of himself in a very racist and hateful environment. It covers in detail the thoughts of a man as he observes and eventually learns how to cope and deal with the world around him. It is a story of a man who, while beset with many obstacles, learns how to overcome them in order to accomplish his goals and aspirations. This book is not for the faint of heart, and the opinions that are shared in this book can be deemed very offensive to some readers. If you think that you will be offended by the opinions shared in this book, the answer is simple. This is not the book for you. This book is merely the opinions of one man, and it should be taken as such. However, if you really wish to gain insight into the thoughts of a young black male in today's society, then look no further. Read this book. Excerpt from the book. From the chapter, Am I Visible or What? One day when I was walking home from school, I came across this other brother who was walking my way. In his eyes, I could see the sadness, the same sadness that was in mine. I knew exactly what was going through his mind too. He was feeling like an absolute nobody. How did I know, you ask? Because I was feeling the same way at the moment, right when I walked past him. Have you ever felt, if you are a black man reading this, that you were invisible to the world? Not because you want to be, but because people refuse to acknowledge your presence. Read more when you purchase this book. This book can be purchased from lulu.com.
I appreciate everybody coming through. If you want to support, the link to the ebook version of that book that you just saw is pinned to the top of the chat. If you would like a paperback version, the link is in the description. I just want to thank you guys for hanging with me for a little while. Let me see. When is the next? Okay, next time I see you guys, it'll be on Monday. It won't quite be 2025. All right. We only got a little time left, y'all. But in any case, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.